Hey friends! So I'm really excited to share this video with you. This is the video that I've looked forward to the most in this series. This is part 3 in the broth series. This video is on a pork bone broth. This is not going to be a 3-minute video. I have a ton of information to throw at you. This video took multiple days to film. I am not going to pretend like I wore the same clothes the whole time. I like being clean. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start talking about the recipe. This recipe is a lot more simple in terms of the aromatics compared to the other recipes that we've done so far. I find that because the preparation I use most often for this type of broth winds up being a ramen, that it's easier for me to add a lot of those flavors afterwards. So for example, in a tare or in dashi stock, to me it makes more sense to add that in later. So step 1 in our recipe is get pork trotters. Pork trotters are pig feet. There's a joke about cops in there somewhere. What you want to do with these is cut them in half. This lets the collagen in the bone and the cartilage escape much more readily. First thing is you want to clean off the bones. Get a brush them down as well as you can. Try to get little bits of hair and stuff off of the trotters. Put the bones in a pressure cooker, fill it up with water, make sure that you're covering all of the bones with about 3 inches of water. Get that to a boil. Put the lid on your pressure cooker and let that cook under pressure for about 20 minutes. Let it come back down to temperature. Take all the contents of the pressure cooker, dump it in the sink, and get rid of all of the water. So you want to clean the bones again at this point. You want to actually get a brush and scrub them down as much as you can. The reason we're doing this, you'll notice that the water is pink. What this is hemoglobin and myoglobin, some of the components of blood. As the trotters cook down, they shrink and it forces all of the blood out into the water. If you leave this in your broth, the hemoglobin and myoglobin break down. Instead of being red, you just kind of get this off brown color. Fill your pressure cooker back up with water. Get it back to a boil. As you're bringing your water back up to a boil, make sure to skim off all of the foam and funky stuff that collects at the top. After you brought it back up to a boil and you've gotten control of the pond scum on the top, you can put the lid back on. You want to let that thing go for about 18 to 24 hours above 12 psi, somewhere in between 12 and 15 psi. Above 15, my pressure cooker gets a little bit loud, so I usually like to have it at 15 or just under. After this 24 hours of pressure cooking, you want to boil your broth for about 3 hours. There's a few reasons for this. One, I think that extra boiling time uncovered just adds something to the soup. I can't necessarily explain it, but I think it just is better. Second, I find that the physical agitation helps to release some of the flavor in the aromatics. And third, it gives you a chance to skim off some of the extra weirdness that you might not have had a chance to yet. You just pressure cooked this thing for 24 hours, there's going to be some weird stuff floating around on the top again. At this point, our broth is done, and it's time to start putting our bowl of ramen together. Alright friends, we're taking a trip, changing location to a different kitchen. Here we go.